the synesthetic theories behind it. So the first one is semantic vacuum hypothesis. So basically the idea that when kids engage with these abstract concepts for the first time, this is causing the connection between different sensations. So the idea of color and numbers and letters, they're all combining because they're all happening, they're all being learned at the same time. And what supports this is that the most common forms of synesthesia are grapheme color, spatial sequencing, and number forms, which are all different abstract concepts that are taught at a young age. So there is a connection between learning and synesthesia. Kids are learning letters, numbers, weekdays, months, all in childhood. It's possible that they can use their synesthesia as a mnemonic device to help them overcome certain learning challenges. So they might be using colors to learn certain abstract concepts like letters. And so they kind of use that sensation to overcompensate for learning another abstract concept. Synesthesia is developed over time in childhood, so a 6-year-old isn't going to have the same synesthetic experiences as they would when they are 11. So the theory is basically that adult synesthesia is like a fossilized trace of these past, overcoming these like past learning challenges. So, disinhibited feedback theory. This theory says that the reduction in the amount of inhibition along the feedback pathways is what causes the synesthesia. So, how the brain works is that you have these higher, like primary, like early sensory areas, but then you have these higher order cortical region areas of sensory experience. And we know that it not only goes that way, but it also can go the other way as well. So if information is not inhibited the way it should be, then higher order experiences can affect these primary earlier sensory areas. So the tone could activate a visual cortical experience and create colors. Now, this is supported by the fact that synesthetic-like experiences happen in psychedelic drug use, suggesting that the inhibition of the drug is what causes this experience. So cross-activation model. This is basically saying that the adjacency of these regions in the brain of the different senses is what makes them connected and what gives that synesthetic experience. So for instance, the grapheme recognition area, you see in green, is adjacent to the V4 color area in red. And they say that this connection is what makes synesthesia. And they're connected due to the failure of developmental process of synaptic pruning. So the synapses weren't pruned away in this area, and so there's still that connection, but because they're close together, that is what causes the connection. So neonatal synesthesia theory. This is basically saying, well, newborns have this experience, have these excess neural connections and synapses. And they're saying that infants actually experience the synesthesia-like perceptions due to these excess of neural connections. It says that usually these excess connections are pruned away, like we talked about just before, are pruned away, but in synesthetes they're not. But the idea is that basically everyone is born having all these connections, and then the difference between synesthetes and non-synesthetes are just that they synesthetes don't have this pruning in certain areas of the brain. And this is interesting because synaptic pruning is also a theory for autism, and there's also other connections between synesthesia and autism. And one of them is genetics. In synesthesia, there are certain genes that are associated with people experiencing synesthesia. It has been thought that synesthesia is connected to the X chromosome because women have been found to have more likely to have synesthesia than men, but it could be argued that women just participate more often in psychological studies. And that is all for today. We talked about all the different theories and reasons and causes of synesthesia and all the different mechanisms, and that's all for today. Have a good day.